So once again, I'm in the unique predicament where the things I don't want to talk about end up being the very things I need to talk about, because when a certain amount of celebrity headlines hit a threshold, I need to speak my truth. I need to speak from the heart, and I need to talk shit about it. Okay. Tori Spelling, who isn't known for being quiet and private about her life, certainly.
No.
But she has started a podcast called Miss Spelling. We knew what this podcast was going to be about because, again, Tori Spelling, she had a whole reality show where her and her now ex-husband were just blatantly not doing well and showing it all. We knew what this podcast was going to be when the premiere episode began with her on air calling Dean to tell him that she filed for divorce. You got to admire a woman who's really going to put it all out there.
I love Tori Spelling. I think she'd be a perfect housewife on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in a Sutton way. You know I love a pathetic housewife, and it turns out I love just a pathetic person, not on Real Housewives as well. She has no shame. She is very much like a social climber and wants to be seen and wants to be relevant in any way possible, and I love that for her. It makes me cackle.
I do agree that she would be a great housewife because she does fit into our Shashas of Potomac. Mm-hmm. Like the pathetic, she really is going to put it all out there type of energy. Yeah. Which she really does put it all out there, because the tipping point for me, and I'm going to go through some other headlines that have been out there later, but the tipping point for me was when I read the following headline this week. This is when I knew we got to talk about Tori Spelling. Fine, she's worn me down. She's won. I'm talking about you, Tori. You won. Tori Spelling admits she once put on her son's diaper and peed in it while stuck in traffic, after revealing that she can't even poop unless her kids are in the bathroom with her.
Okay, the poop part is too much for me. That we enter Meghan Trainor territory. But I don't think the diaper part you should be judging.
Well, I am in a glass house. I did start out this podcast by talking about my poor asshole after that stomach bug, and I have shared about the McDonald's bag.
So much so that it's part of our theme song.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with the lore of the McDonald's bag, go back to our Josie and the Pussycats episode. So I know that maybe it's a situation where you see in others things you don't like about yourself. How old is her son? Because those diapers are small. So if you had to go that bad, are we really relying on Pampers to soak up all that urine? I feel like a McDonald's bag, a diaper, that is like a, oh my God, I've got to make a game time decision here type of move. And to me, it seems like it was done prematurely. Like surely we could have pulled off on an exit.
Well, here's the thing. This is someone who paparazzi takes pictures of. This is not whatever her name is, Sarah Sanders. There will be cameras if you see Tori Spelling pissing by a tree on the side of the road.
Well, but then again, we have to think of who this Keke Palmer is. She is Tori Spelling. So sure, Keke Palmer probably wouldn't want paparazzi taking pictures of her pissing on the side of the road. But this is a woman who, spoiler alert, another headline is Tori Spelling reveals why she and Dean slept in separate bedrooms for 3 years. And no, it's not a pig. So where's the line here?
The line is she is in charge of these narratives. I think she would have no problem telling you I pulled to the side of the highway and pissed, but I think that she wouldn't want me taking a picture with hooch out.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I really do like Tori Spelling too. She is a frequent guest on My Guilty Pleasure, Jeff Lewis Live, and she's really endearing and sweet, and she is pathetic and desperate for fame, but in a very like relatable type of way. I don't think it's her. I do think it's this new thing that it seems like PR. I mean, we've got to tell Stephanie Sanchez we do not want this type of publicity. But it's this new like PR push I'm noticing where when people have a podcast or a memoir coming out, it's like they start being in every single headline, and it makes me immediately hate them. It happened with Jada Pinkett Smith when she released her book. It's happening now with Rebel Wilson. My God, you can't scroll on the Daily Mail without Rebel Wilson being out there. And then I feel like it's happening with JoJo Siwa too, and her I'm not a kid anymore. Look, I'm dressed like kids.
Okay, first of all, there will never be any headline that can get me to turn on Jada, so I don't know what you're speaking about. Rebel Wilson, I also don't know what you're speaking about, but not because I like her. I have not seen any Rebel Wilson news ever.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she has been all over my feed. So maybe my NSA agent is sending me a message.
See, that's why it's heavenly to just block people.
No, she has a book that came out, and then it's a weird situation because she talked about Sacha Baron Cohen being like a nightmare on set, but she has since now retracted, and in the new copies of the books, there's a retraction that's put out. Then she talked about how Adele doesn't like her because she's fat. It's like all of these headlines are just constantly circulating. And again, it's like, I don't necessarily know if it's her fault, because I'm sure this is just like information in the memoir that now people are posting about. And I guess it happened to some degree when the Britney book came out, but that's a different situation because it's Britney. I understand they want to get the narrative out, like, I have a new book, but at what point do you not need to purchase the book because we're just reading it on the Daily Mail?
Well, that's my problem with it, because they always put the juiciest stuff, so then the things you're reading are like, one time I went to a Walmart with no shoes. I was like, I didn't need to read that. That is filler.
Well, just a few more headlines
Can't wait.
about Tori Spelling, because I did start to collect them as they were popping up in my feed. Tori Spelling reveals no one has broken my heart since my first love, and Beverly Hills 90210 co-star Brian Austin Green. Amid divorce from ex Dean McDermott. Can you imagine going through a divorce and being like, I just never loved somebody since that first love?
Yeah, that's
And then finally, Tori Spelling says Shannon Doherty wore the blood-stained dress she lost her virginity in. And again, I know we're casting stones. We overshare quite literally on a bi-weekly basis, but my God.
We are not casting stones. I want it to be known that I have no problem with any of the headlines you've said. In fact, my favorite celebrity moment of all time is when she passed out on the hibachi grill and burnt her face. Do you remember that?
No.
It was at Benihana. I think she was drunk and she passed out on the hibachi grill, face on the fryer, and had 3rd-degree burns.
Oh my God, she pulled a Michael Scott with that George Foreman, except it was her face. Good heavens. Wow.
I do want to talk, since you mentioned Shannon Doherty and that virginity dress, I do want to talk. There was a 90210 reunion recently at Comic-Con, and the whole cast that is still alive was there. And I hate Shannon Doherty so much. I hate her. And it brought me so much joy to see that Jenny Garth does as well. Jenny Garth can't stand that bitch. And she never said it, but I could see it in her eyes. And I wish that I could look in the camera at her. I wish we were on a Zoom instead of me watching a YouTube video. And I would say, me too.
Wow. I mean, I know why, because you've certainly ranted about her enough, but has she done anything new recently to make you hate her so much with a burning passion?
Nothing new, but now that there are all these reunions for 90210 and Charmed and whatever, I'm seeing her more, and it's not out of sight, out of mind. Now it's like, she's my recurring headline. And she has her podcast, so Shannon Doherty is always in the news now, so I can't forget that I hate her.
Okay.
My kitty of the week is Beyonce, because she came out with a new hair care line that Kenya Moore supports. Kenya said there's room in this game for all of us.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I'm going to do that now. Whenever a new celebrity comes out with a podcast, I'm going to take to my Instagram and be like, congratulations, Oprah. There's room in the space for all of us.
It is true.